Right, and good morning, everybody. You are listening and tuned in to Go Wellness Webinars. I am your host, Cade Archibald today, and today we're going to do some things a little bit different than usual. We're going to be jumping into more how to build an effective team that's rallied around the right purpose and right goals. And we've had a lot of questions about this recently, and so I think this is a very applicable topic that's going to help each of you build a better team that's more engaged, more willing and ready to help more people and have a bigger, greater purpose. And so, yeah, this is going to be a little unique. So typically, as you guys know, Reagan will teach on this platform today. You guys are going to hear a lot more from me. Lucky you. So Reagan is traveling back from, he's traveling today, so he's not able to join us. So this is going to be a fun one. We're going to go into, in all reality, so I attached the document that is our review process. So I'll get into once they are employees, but we're going to start off with talking about the hiring process, what we should look for, some different questions to ask that aren't just generic. I think sometimes we get we think we ask a question a good way, but it's an easy yes or no answer that no one. If you ask someone, are you timely, they're always going to say yes, even if they're not. So I want to go into how to read people a little more through the interview process, and then we'll jump into some minor processes on how to get them trained, and then really the review process, keep them motivated and engaged and really part of the team. So really excited you guys were able to join us today, and if you have any questions at all, raise your hand, ask some questions. I want to make this as interactive as possible so that we can make this more effective. But I think overall, if you're looking at building a better team and making your team more effective, you have to have the right players on the field and the right players in the right positions, because that's really how you can make it function better. Because when you got someone in the wrong place, or someone that's just not a good fit for a specific position, it taxes the whole team. So I am just taking some notes here so you guys can have somewhat of a process, and then I'll actually publish this on Kajabi. I'm working on migrating all of our current healthcare entrepreneur and functional medicine program information from the old Kajabi into the new Kajabi, and so that's been a nice big project, but you should have some updated logins in the next couple weeks. So all right, so sorry, I should be talking rather than typing. So let me look at this real quick. So who of you, before we get too far down this, I want to make sure everyone knows our upcoming events. We're working on potentially getting a stem cell event the mid part of September. That would be in Salt Lake again. If any of you on this are interested in that and that sounds like something you would want to be involved in, please raise your hand, put a question, just put something in the comments or questions box so that we can have a better idea if that's going to be a good date for all you folks out there. If not, no problem. we're going to have one. So our next stem cell event will be October 13th. That's a Friday. And then the 14th and 15th, that's Saturday, Sunday, that'll be the functional medicine portion. That event's going to be in Salt Lake. So hopefully you guys can all make it. And then the following is December 9th and 10th. Right now that's slated for LA, but that very well could change venues just based on some of the voting that happened over the weekend when we were out there last time. So reach out, info@gowellness.com to get any more details on those events, or just confirm that you'll be there. If you're a client, it's always nice to know if you're not able to make it, what's going on and how things are going. We want to hear from you as well. So, all right, let's jump into the topic though. All right, so how to build an effective team. And really what we want to be focused on is, building a team that's, I guess I want to ask you guys, what are some things that you would like to have more of in your team? Like more enthusiasm for the job, more drive, maybe more organization, more excitement, anything. Those things, those small little characteristics can be huge. So when you're first going through the hiring process, so I'm just going to start from level 1 or level A is, the first step is you got to hire someone before they can be part of the team. So when you're putting out ads, the biggest thing that I see people doing is they say, all right, I need someone that is timely, can work with Excel, can work with my EHR system, they develop this huge checklist of things that the person has to do, and that's what they focus on. Rather than, I like to focus more on characteristics, because if someone is lazy, not very enthusiastic, just wants to sit behind a desk and kind of do the bare minimum, they're going to actually be turned off by some of these phrases. Now, I'm not saying this is exactly what you put. I just mocked something together really quickly. But a really good way to do this is, just think of the characteristics you want for that team player. You want them to be excitable. You want them to be really driven. Maybe it's a position that you need them to be extremely organized. Whatever the case is, you want to put those specifics on that job ad, so that that's the people that you attract. So, it's always nice to explain, okay, what is East West Health? Give a little snippet there, so they understand, that you're looking at innovating healthcare through more natural ways, helping more people, being on the innovative cutting edge of new medicine while maintaining some roots of traditional medicine or ancient medicine, however you want to spin that. But those can be some really good, effective ways to help drive people to to have an affinity for working with you, because you want to have someone that's going to be like-minded. Obviously, you don't, and that's a no-brainer. But it's a lot easier if you have that listed and really what you're about, what your mission's about, before that person ever calls, submits a resume or anything. It makes the hiring process a lot easier and weed out some of the people that you don't want to, that would probably be more of a waste of time for you. So step 1, get a good job ad description. So you want to, obviously you'll put, this would be a little bit more content. You're going to also want to put duties, include, and just include, just some basic outlines of what you see the position being. One thing that I think is extremely important in the interview process is to see, like, is someone too good to do certain tasks or certain things? Because if they are, that's probably not going to be a good fit for you unless your jobs are very, um, very very tight and they don't overlap. Which I applaud you, but at the same time, that sometimes does not make sense. So you'll put some duties, some different things like that. So you get them in the door. The first step, so when you're going through, say, the interview process, one thing that I've found to be really helpful, and I know Reagan has as well, is it's nice to get a Kobe profile on them. So you can either have them submit their Kobe before, or have them come about 15 or 20 minutes early and have them do the Kobe profile test before their interview. And they can just do it at your office. This is, I think it's, a $50 test. So you probably wouldn't want to do this on a ton of candidates, but if you get down to your kind of final three, maybe those final three, you have them do a Kobe profile and get a good gauge. Or at least if you have like the person that it's like, okay, I really feel strong about this person, I think they're going to be, the candidate, I would definitely have them take it, just so you can have a better understanding of where they're going to fit in the mix. Because this can be really helpful to know where their strengths are, where they're going to have the most energy to put towards something. Because people can be adaptable. So if you understand the Kobe profile, you have your fact finder, you have your follow through, you have your quick start, and then you have your implementer. And so if you're going to have someone at your front desk that is all quick start and maybe zero follow through, that could be, you could have some issues there. Because what will happen is they'll get started on something, and maybe this is more for a project manager, something that you want done, but they'll start it, and then you want to have them hand it off to someone else because their follow through is going to be pretty rough, or it'll at least be exhausting for them. So that doesn't mean they can't follow through. It just means their energy units might get sucked dry a little bit more with that. So these are some good things to just see. Okay, how compatible is this person going to be with the rest of the team? And so so let's go through some kind of interview questions to ask. So a lot of times we like to ask people, the basics about, timeliness, different things like that. So I think one way, so let's go into, I call them situational questions. So these are ways that you can really see how someone responds to a certain thing that happens. And do they start making excuses? Do they blame someone else? Do they take ownership? How do they address those? So so some good situational questions. I always like to have them describe a past situation that maybe a customer or a client or a patient that you were working with, they were upset about something. So kind of explain what got them upset, what was their concern, how did you address that with the patient, and then how'd you, what was the end result? So So what you're looking for here is, it'll take them a second and just say, yeah, think of any situation, whether it was, you can look at their resume and say whether it was at this job or this job, or, if you can't think of one there, like even think about something at home or at school or whatever different things are. But then you can really start to understand someone's logic. Okay, well, and then, so after they tell you the story, okay, well, why did you do this? Why did you do that? So then you can really dig into their logic and see, okay, I like the way this person thinks, or maybe they're a little too, you know, maybe they like to blame other people way too much, and you'll be able to sense that. Oh, well, this person was doing that and that and that, and I was doing everything right. Um, and so you can really see if someone is ready to take ownership. And so um, okay, so that's one of my favorite questions I like to ask. So once again, if you guys are just joining us, we'd have some feedback at the last seminar that we needed to get some hiring process and some how to build a team, data and info. So I think this can be really effective and good for you guys out there. So you got some situational questions, and you really want to dive in here. Obviously you want to see their past jobs, positions, like how long were they there, and these are just some basics, but how long is their average tenure, why'd they leave, um, some of those things can be really important, obviously. And then one thing I like to ask regarding past jobs is, so if I were to call your last employer or boss, and ask, so if I were to ask them about you, what's the absolute worst thing they're going to tell me about you? So this can be a really like a good way to indicate character and some things there, because everyone, for the most part, people can identify their downfalls or things, but you can see if there's any big red flags there. And I just think it's fun. And then I'll usually say, what's the worst thing? Okay, now what's the best? So they can talk a little bit more on the positive end. But those are, some good basic questions that you can ask and dive into. So you got past positions, situational questions, and then we always like to see what projects or what goals are you working on? To better your life or health, some of those things. I always think it's interesting to see. And then obviously in our field, I want to ask them what they're doing to take care of their health and improve their health. Okay. Anyone else want to chime in Anyone else have some good questions they wanted to add to the conversation? Feel free. All right, so here's some basic interviewing questions, how to get people there. Um, I've found, so you can do this. Indeed.com is really good for practitioners. I've used university websites to hire, and I got just drowned in applications. Um, yeah, you can. Facebook has actually been one of the best for me because I just post it on my personal Facebook and say, hey, friends out there, this is who I'm looking for, and that's where I get the best candidates. I'll only get maybe two or three, but usually it's like, friends like, oh, this person would be perfect, and I interview them, and yeah, that's one of the most ideal ways to get it. The other one is like observation from your daily working life, or you go to a restaurant or you go to a place and you feel like you got exceptional service from a certain person. That person might be a really good candidate, excuse me, um, for a position that you're looking for. And so if you really like someone, don't be afraid to go after it. That can be extremely, you know, that can be extremely beneficial and helpful. All right, so there's kind of the I guess these should go under hiring process. Sorry, I'm building this as we go. Hopefully you guys don't mind. All right, so next phase. So you find that perfect someone. So our process is we'll have them come in for um, so day one is they interview. Day two, if you like them, then you can obviously break it down. Maybe have two or three candidates, and then you do a working interview. So with all this, you should be taking notes and really trying to engage if this is someone that you can see yourself working with. I always start off with introducing myself and the clinic, goals, purpose, really helping the person see, okay, this, like, they're not looking for just a front desk person, or they're not looking for just a um, someone to answer the phones. They're actually looking for someone that can help people understand things better. Really um, developing someone into a full-blown team player that can, help patients get better with closing on more care plans, with improving efficiencies, organization, and so in a lot of cases, we'll have our front desk girls, which we don't call them front desk, we call them care coordinators. We'll have them um, teach classes and a lot of this stuff. So it's a lot more dynamic than just answering phones and scheduling people. All right, so day two, you have them come in for a working interview. I'd say anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. This is a way that I always tee it up as, okay, you're interviewing us and we're interviewing you. I want to make sure that you're comfortable with the position that you're going to be working on, and vice versa. We want to make sure that we're comfortable with you being there. And so If you feel like there's any red flags, anything that you can't do or wouldn't be comfortable doing on a daily basis, let me know, but this is how it's going to roll. And then you try to get them in the busiest time of the day. And, tell them they're free to ask questions, pick whoever they're shadowing's brain. But overall, the goal is to make sure they feel like they could handle that job that's nothing too insane. And then also, make sure you talk to the person that they're shadowing so that they're kind of going through an interview process themselves, so they can give you some good feedback on, well, yeah, she said this or they said this and it was kind of odd. I don't know if their mindset's right, or most of the time it'll be pretty positive, good feedback. So you want to definitely coach them on what to look for. From there, obviously, you get them hired. We have some different hiring things, but so the hiring process. So one thing that I've found to be really helpful when I hire someone, the first thing is just setting clear expectations. So build out exactly what you want and what you expect from them. So in our world, we give them an hourly base to start. Now it's through the training. So they'll get a base training hourly, and then once they graduate training, which they have to pass off some specific things. So they got to be able to effectively schedule, ultimately they need to be able to independently do all the jobs that they are asked to do. So that's going to be utilizing the phone scripts, explaining different wellness plans, different programs, different treatments that we offer, those different things, scheduling someone, taking payments. They need to be able to do all those things before we pass them off to their kind of normal pay. And so that process I put as a minimum of 2 weeks, max of 90 days. If it takes someone 90 days to learn the job, it's probably not a good fit. And so, usually after 2 or 3 weeks, you'll kind of know, and that gives you the chance to just say, hey, you're not really picking it up, or we decided to go elsewhere, or, most of the time it's like they're doing great. They may need to work on a few things, so that'll give you an opportunity to train them more on that. And that's the big part during this process. Once you get into that training process, you definitely want to be high touch, highly visible, encourage them to ask questions and understand the why behind what we do, especially when it comes to different language that they'll use on the phone and different instances there. You want to make sure they understand that. Coach them on the primary script for those singer folks out there. All right, so but setting some clear expectations. So you're going to really set those expectations of what they need to be able to master. So you set those clear expectations. I'd set timeliness expectations. And so I give them, and then I actually do, in our clinic, I do a 2-year to 3-year commitment. So, there's not necessarily anything that comes out of it other than, I keep yawning. I apologize, everybody. So yeah, really important thing is I'll always establish an agreement, and I actually have them sign off that they're going to commit depending on what clinic it is and what we have going on. Usually it's a 2-year agreement, so they commit, they'll be here for 2 years. If they decide to leave, they'll give me 30 days notice. Most of the time I don't use the 30 days. I just like to make it more of a professional feel rather than this is just it's just a desk, a receptionist, because it really isn't. We want them to be just as involved in the patient's care and health as everyone else is. So it's really important to make them feel that way and help them feel the depth and everything. So they the key here is to really help make sure that they're going to be committed to this job. And then you can ask them, like, is there anything within the next few years that would make you have to leave this job? Because you want to get these agreements all up front before you hire them. Because if they're not, if they're hesitant on some of these things, then they're probably not going to be an effective long-term employee. Some other things, so kind of going through all the basics of what your expectations are, and then the next part is more the fun part, and get them excited about the team bonus. I think team bonuses are extremely important. So as the clinic succeeds financially, then you can help the rest of your team succeed financially. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. We have a lot posted. I know we have some in our in the Kanye West manual, as well as if you get on the Kajabi under employee documents, you'll see a few different things that you can do there. Really just having something is a lot more important than having nothing. It's never going to be perfect. We've gone to quarterly bonuses. So how I work that is someone on the team, if they join, the whole incentive for them to really learn and grow with the job and get out of training is so that they can qualify for bonus. Because if they're going through training, they don't qualify for any bonus. So you don't qualify for bonus until you pass through training. And then from there, there may be some grace periods, especially where we do quarterly. We'll either prorate, or sometimes I just say you'll qualify for the following quarter bonus. All right, so that should give you guys a good idea on how to do that hiring process. The training piece is really, you're going to want to be high touch for those first 2 weeks, meaning you want to check in often with them, see how things are going. I would recommend shadowing them, unless the person that's kind of been doing that job is still there and they're a rock star. They can a lot of times help out in that arena as well. And then as someone goes on in tenure, you want to start. So what we do in our office is and this document's attached. So we do some quarterly evaluations. We actually ended up doing this. It says quarterly, but we actually do this more like twice a year, so every 6 months. It's just quarterly becomes a little more challenging, but I just hand this to them, and I say, hey, can you fill out your review? And then once you're done, hand it in to me, and we can schedule a time to go over it, and we'll figure those out. So kind of going over it, going through it. So the team role, so this is kind of their overall role. We need to have, we just have them put their name at the top. Would be a little bit better to have that labeled here, but no worries. So you guys all have this document. You can make whatever tweaks you want to it. So divisions managed or involved in. So this is helping them understand what divisions they're in based on the org board. And this is the kind of the more updated one that Reagan's just kind of tweaked and made his own. But yeah, helping them understand, okay, what divisions am I in, key position. Yeah, this is obviously evaluation day. This is where you'd put your name or another team member that's going through it. And then we got the Kobe score, which you should have already done that in their hiring process. And then the strengths finder, you can do that once they're in. That one, it takes about the same as the Kobe. It's a little less expensive though. You're looking at like $15 to get their top 5. So if you wanted to switch out the strengths finder in place of the Kobe profile, not a bad, I'm going to actually add that right there. It's not a bad way to go about it either. All right, and then you just, they're going to go through this, so we can count on you for, so this is what they're, this is giving them some ways that they can say what we can count on them for. It can be as simple as being early, attending every event, helping patients understand their care plans and closing care plans, anything like that. And this is obviously something they're going to fill out, and then this gives you a really nice dialogue to just go through, help them feel encouraged in the areas that they're doing really well at, and some of the areas that you see they can improve on. That's where you can give them some feedback, and maybe it's a matter of them not knowing or having the resources to accomplish those things, or maybe it's just they're doing a little bit different, and you can coach them up on how to do it a little more effectively and better. So this webinar, I think for the most part, this is really what we do. Also, I'm doing quarterly, or at least every 6 months, doing an event with your team. Just take them out to dinner, do some fun things, get them together and excited. Some places are a little too big to do everybody. So I know, some offices, if you got way too many, that may be too much to handle at once. But maybe take out different divisions. Just you really want to cultivate good quality relationships, keep people engaged. If you're noticing their stats are down, or maybe just you can tell their tone's down, that gives you an opportunity to step in, sit down with them, and see what's going on, and see what can change there. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. I'm going to also post this in our updated portal, just for some hiring assistance and help there. Let me know if you guys have any questions on this. We're here as a resource. Just before we jump off the webinar today, I want to make sure you guys know upcoming events. October 13th is our next stem cell lab event, stem cell implementation. That'll be level 2, level 3 certification. We have, and then right after that, so that's a Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, we got functional medicine training. That'll all be in Salt Lake City, and we are so excited to see you guys there. We'll be back next week. Reagan will be doing the webinar next week, and so really looking forward to seeing you guys then. In the meantime, you have an amazing day, and we love you from the bottom of our hearts here at Go Wellness, and you guys have an amazing day. Bye-bye, everybody.